Hey, 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 good people. I'll stop by to kind of chit-chat with some of my buddies. We make sure I got my stuff to where I want it to be. I'll stop by to ask a question that I'm sure many of you would agree is a legitimate question to ask. And the question is basically simple. The question is whether George Weah is a competitor or a participant. In so doing, I think it is fair for analytical purposes to address the issue as to why we chose to ask whether or not he is a competitor or a participant. So, in order for us to do that, we're going to do this right here. Boom. All right. That's how I like to do my thing. I like for us to really interact with each other. So let's do this. Let's define. I don't want to use my regular stuff. But a competitor is a person who takes part in an athletic contest. But basically, by our definition, we know that George Weah has been a competitor all along by virtue of his professional career. But can the same be said when it comes to politics? Is he a participant? Meaning, is he just there to take part? There's a difference between a competitor and a participant. A typical example of what I will say to you today is the fact that in America, we try not to make our children feel bad. So what we do is that when they take part in competitions, we give everybody a trophy. Now, you and I know that doesn't happen in Liberia. If you're just joining us and you believe this is going to be helpful to a friend, you can go at the bottom of your screen. You have my permission to hit the share button because we are about to blast the truth. You know that I don't owe anybody anything, and I really don't care. I say it like I see it. You take it or you leave it. Doesn't matter to me. Now, we give all the children participating a medal. Whether they played hard, or they even played, or they were just a part of the team, we put a medal on everybody's neck. The same cannot be said for politics. The question we beg to find an answer to today in our little forum is whether or not George Weah is a participant or a competitor. We know who a competitor is. One who takes part in an analytical competition with the aim of winning. We know who a participant is. That person does not necessarily have to win or lose. They have to be there. They have to be part of. Okay? Now, maybe Robert Clark and others will ask the question, why would you ask such a question? You know, such a question. Why would you ask such a question? Why shouldn't I ask such a question? One way, in 2005, you can say George Weah was part of the competition. In 2011, you can say George Weah was part of the competition. In 2017, you can say George Weah is a part of the competition. The same can be said, the fact that he did not win, that in 2005, George Weah was a participant. The fact that he did not win in 2011, George Weah was a participant. In 2017, the fact that we still have the elections to come out, and he has announced his intention, and he is part of the process, he is a participant. But at the end of the day, why are we asking the question then? Because we want to determine as to whether in 2017 he's going to be a participant, a competitor, and ultimately, I should have added, is he a winner? But I chose not to because he did not win in 2005. He did not win in 2011. And I don't see a winning path for George Weah if things does not change. I am the same one who told you that there is no doubt in my mind that Weah is in the second round. But I'm the same one telling you now it's not going to change. He's there. And nobody can take him out. But I cannot guarantee to you for sure that George Weah is going to win. Because just like in 2005, he was in the second round. In 2011, he was in the second round. In 2017, he's already in the second round. The question is, in 2005, he lost. In 2011, he lost. In 2017, will he lose? That is what prompted the question. Is he a competitor? Or is he a participant? Now let's put on our political hats for a moment. The front page, a paper that I don't like, and I'm not asking them to like me either. Even if I run, they want to write against me, that's their damn business. I'm being honest. Because I've had great admiration for them, but for some reason, they've decided that they will no longer work for us, the people. That they will work for the powers that be. And they will be engaged in yellow journalism, corrupt practices, blackmailing, and what have you. And if they don't favor a person, they will use their pen to destroy that person. So instead of giving us facts, they are giving us fallacies. Instead of giving us authentic stories, they are giving us literature that looks like what you would say, a metaphor or something. Sometimes they give us poetic writings. Now, well, you know, Mr. Jala, you can love them, you can like them. You and I don't like the same thing. I tell you what, I like rice, but not as much as I like to swallow. So if I tell you I don't like front page, I really don't. Because they used to be my #1 paper. Now they don't write for the people anymore. They write because people ask them to write in their favor or against someone else. That's not what we're looking for. They've left from being in the middle, from being neutral, to taking sides and tailoring the discourse to the person they favor. So that nonsense don't fly with me. Anyways, back to where we are. Why would I ask the question whether or not George Weah is a competitor? It's because a competitor is one who competes. And no one goes to a competition just to be in a competition. One of the players I coach is part of this forum today, Roberto Weah. As a player of Budu Pro, and me being the coach, we did not go to a competition just to participate. We went to win. And many of the competitions we took part in, we won. Because we played to win. Now, George Weah, during his footballing career, he played to win. He put everything he had in it. For some reason, in his political career, he is very sluggish and applies a lackadaisical approach to everything. If you are the biggest political party, as some are arguing, including Ben Finn and others, with all of the election irregularities that are taking place right now, I can name a few for you. A person in the president's office was caught with election gadgets and materials. People foot trucking. People caught with not being registered. Seizing election materials, arresting people. The issue of the code of conduct. The 10-year residency clause. Dual citizenship. And at the end of the day, your party or your coalition is doing nothing. Who told you opposition operates that way? But just give us chance. As soon as George Weah gets whooped in the election, all of the little platoon surrogates, I call them, will start crying, we were cheated. Let me ask the question. Are you being cheated now? Now. Is the CDC being cheated right now? Are they being cheated right now? If the answer is yes, are they crying foul? Are they making it an issue? Do they recognize that they're being cheated? Is there a problem somewhere? I'm sure Roberto Weah would tell you the referee is cheating. He raised up his captain bear and he ran to the referee and confronted the referee on the issue. He will be a witness here. It means he is not on that field to play just to be a participant. He's competing and he wants to be treated fairly. But look at George Weah. You're running for president and you're silent on almost everything. Are you really competing? Do you really want to win? How are you going to win when you are sitting right there and they're catching people in broad daylight with election gadgets and election materials, doing his own registration and stuff? How are you going to win? Because even if you win, you're not going to be able to govern if you let the opposition party take over the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, so to speak, the legislature. Because anything you want to do, they will block you. And if they want to, they can impeach you. Maybe probably people in the CDC don't even know where impeachment proceedings in democracy begins. It begins in the House, the lower house of representatives. They don't impeach the president. They organize everything, write everything, and send it over to the Senate. And then the Senate does the work. That's something that Weah does not know. And so you cannot sit there and compete and not go in competing to win. But instead you're competing just to be there. Because I can name 15 different things that everyone knows don't seem right with the whole electoral process right now. Vote rigging has already been proven. They caught the guy right-handed from the president's office. Okay? Vote rigging. We don't have to wait after the elections for you to say the election was rigged. You caught the guy right-handed with the electronic gadgets and everything. He's already rigging the elections in his favor. He's from Unity Party. So you're going to wait until election day before you cry vote rigging? No. You saw it, it happened. All right? People have been turned away from registration booths on the basis of their last names and things. You caught that one. Vote trucking. You caught that one. Total disregard for the Constitution right before your eye. It's like playing in a game. Handball, you don't run to the referee. Corner kick, you don't protest to the referee. Throw in your own ball, the referee take it for you, give it to the next person, you don't say anything. We're in your opponent's box. You play handball in your opponent's 18-yard box. The referee take the ball from there and a war penalty in your box. In your half. You don't say anything. The question is, are you competing? Or are you just there to participate? Or are you confident that you're going to win? Like you were confident in 2005 and in 2011. And both times when you were confident, you lost. That's why we're asking the question. Is George Weah a competitor or a participant? What is your answer? What do you think? Now, I'm tempted even to ask the question. Who advised George Weah to take on Weah Howard Taylor as his vice presidential running mate? If you don't know, I can tell you. I don't think George Weah took Weah Howard Taylor because he loves her or because Taylor ordered him to. But I think the pseudo-political technocrats who are, for the most part, around George Weah thought by picking Weah Howard Taylor that the vote from Bone County would offset the vote rich town of Nimba County. That's serious politics now I'm talking about. Because there are several factors that influences our elections in Liberia. You have the religious factor. You have the tribal factor. You have the social status factor. But chiefly amongst them, you have the partisan factor, the religious factor, and the tribal factor. Don't you ever forget those three factors. The man will be a seditious. He will know that he doesn't like Weah Howard Taylor. But you know, you and I know he will say, I'm a die-hard seditious. So therefore, he will vote for that ticket anyways. The man will be a Pele man, a Gio man, or a Mano man. Whatever you want to say. If it's a Gola man, the man will say, listen, I hear everything you say. But my brother, the man a Gola man, I can't leave the man one side. Therefore, he puts his vote on the basis of tribalism. So now we finish with the partisan part, we finish with the tribal part, let's go to the religious part. The first thing the man will tell you, my brother, you ever hear say Muslim men become president in the country or vice president? You say no, you say, Now the first time we get in our life for Muslim men to become vice president, then you say I'm going to leave him because I like CDC, it's not going to happen. Those three factors are actual real factors that influences elections in Liberia. The tribal factor, the religious factor, and the partisan factors. Now, in the past, you will say, oh, you don't understand Liberian politics. What about the rice? That was the 17th, 18th, and 19th century if you want to go back. Part of the 20th century. In the 21st century, the calculation has been made. $6 for half a bag of rotten rice, don't cut it anymore. The people know they will eat the rice in 1 month, it will finish, but they will suffer. They already got that other message. If you say Allah, go ask, what's his name? Rob Salif, he'll tell you. You gave them $10 to vote, they go drink it right down the road. It's not working anymore. The rice factor, the money factor, not working anymore with the people. Because how many people you are going to give $10,000 to individually? No. Your $10,000 is mainly to the chief and the elders. But the ordinary person will get $10. They've passed that level. Okay? So let's come back to the point. George Weah, as a competitor, I remember a game in the African Cup of Nations where a play between George Weah and Bo Charles would have led to Liberia being qualified to advance. And a little quarrel between Bo Charles and George Weah actually robbed Liberia, because Bo Charles actually headbutted the ball from the hands of the goalkeeper, and all he had to do was roll the ball for Weah. They were constantly fussing. Imagine having Christopher Rare, Bo Charles, James Salensa Diba, George Weah, Joe Nangbe, Kevin Sebwe, and I don't know, the list can go on. It's like Yaya Toure, Colon Toure, Solomon Kalou, Weah Bonny, and all of Ivory Coast, and they can carry trophy, but we did not. I'm giving you that scenario to illustrate to you what serious competition means. We don't go to compete just to compete or be participants. You go to compete to win. And you must do everything to win. And you cannot be, okay, George Weah is a quiet guy. George Weah is an easy guy. George Weah don't like talking. Well, all of those qualities don't fit a politician. Then get the hell out. Just get the hell out of there. Because then that's not who you are. I'm not saying if you are a politician, you need to insult the president. No, don't do that. And you've done good with that. You have not, actually insulted the president. You have not said worse things about the president. That is a plus for you, my friend. But when taxes are poor on the Liberian people, you are silent. When they gave them telecommunications tax, you are silent. They put taxes on alcohol and tobacco, you are silent. They seize all the containers in the port, you are silent. They take all the voters' registration stuff, seize it, stuff ballot, you are silent. They wouldn't register your own people, you are silent. My friend, you may have won FIFA Fair Play Award, but those of you that know George Weah, telling me in politics we don't have that award. We don't have FIFA Fair Play Award in politics. And so to come and act all prom and pumper and try to make yourself look intelligent and easygoing, not working. So instead of being a competitor, in my view, Weah is a participant. Weah was a participant in 2005. Weah was a participant in 2011. Weah is a participant right now. You don't hear him making no talk. Because like 2005 and 2011, he's participating again. And the sad part about this whole thing is that Weah has already qualified for the second round. That's the sad part. Nobody can take that away from Weah. He's already in the second round again. Sometimes I'm tempted to believe that Weah is paid to be part of the elections. Of course, that's not what I want to believe. But that's why I spoke appropriately. I'm tempted to believe. Like, can you be part of the elections, please? Oh, no, you know, I don't have time for... No, please, can you be part of the elections? I don't know, man. I could be doing something. I could be on ESPN, CFI, Canada France International. I can be on BBC, you know, sports, and be analyzing soccer and make about $1 million. No problem, we'll pay you. We'll pay you just for participating. I may be wrong, and I hope I am. But be my guest. You cannot, for God in heaven's sake, be the biggest opposition leader in the country and everything passes by your nose without any comment. Let me be specific here with my fellow citizens. I have a friend, a Caucasian American friend, and we have this joke all the time. He looks at me and says, "You don't have to talk." And we laugh. George Weah, you don't have to talk. There is something called writing. Donald Trump tweets every 4 or 5 hours. And you don't have to tweet to misspell. A friend can be just beside you. And you can have your Facebook page. All you got to do is just one paragraph. I don't support the tax increase for communications. It is almost like telling my people to shut up. George Weah. People go under there and give you 1,000 comments. You tweet by the increment on taxes on communications, telecommunications taxes. Is this a clear way to say shut the hell up? But you can't be the big, you want to be referred to as the biggest opposition leader, but you are not. I didn't say the coalition. I didn't say the political party called the Congress for Democratic Change. I said George Weah, right? You can't say you want to be the biggest opposition leader, but you, as in you, George Weah, you are not opposed to anything. I look forward to a journalist asking George Weah, like how Samuel Doe was asked on the day of the coup, would you reverse the policies of the late William Talbot? He said, nope, I will continue with it. Would you scrap all the other things? Nope, I will continue with it. So there was no need for the journalist to ask them, why did you kill Talbot? Because the journalist knew better. It was not Doe that killed Talbot. We all know that, right? It wasn't Doe that killed Talbot. But the truth of the matter is, if you are not opposed to anything, then you're supposed to everything. I don't get it. If you're not going to say anything, then write something. If you're not going to write anything, then tweet something. If you're not going to tweet anything, then post something. But don't let people's children die again in 2017. That's why I asked the question for many of you who know where I'm coming from to start thinking again. Don't make them feel like you're competing when you are participating. And don't participate under the disguise of competing. Because when you compete to win. When you participate, you are supposed to be there. You add value to it. You contribute. That's what you're there for. I think Weah needs to come clean and say, you know what? I'm just participating because I was asked to. But I see everything going on. And by the way, when I said to you guys I don't like front page, it's part of the reason. Yesterday we talked about the same thing. George Weah working hand in hand with Charles Taylor? Question. Well, why are you asking that silly question in your reportage only to write the whole nonsense and then give a quote that doesn't suggest that he's working hand in hand with Charles Taylor or even beg the question? But George Weah allows Front Page Africa to use him as a product of resale. You buy, you sell. You buy from him, you sell. Those guys are getting rich on the head of George Weah. Why? Because for them, George Weah is a means of money. Well, if George Weah was creating the story and the narrative, then they wouldn't be making that money. But because he's the guy that is silent all the time, doesn't say anything, wouldn't say anything, doesn't care, he's participating, so who do you think Front Page will find to make their news? They're not going to find Silas or Brazilian Monk or Robert Taylor. The guy is head of the biggest opposition party. Any little thing from him creates news for them. So if he's not saying nothing, then there is no news. And if there is no news, then use him to make news. In politics, those who refuse to resist using any form of violence or any other means other than quietude, we refer to as passive resistance. George Weah, we are in the 21st century. You are no Martin Luther King. You are not Mahatma Gandhi. So to suggest that you will be silent on the things that matter most to the Liberian people is a joke. It's a complete joke. Because all of the things that matter to the Liberian people, they want to hear something. But they are not hearing something. The next thing again that brings to my mind the issue of whether George Weah is competing or participating. George Weah, when they made you a member of the ECOWAS Parliament and you were sent over there, you must remember it was at the time when you were not involved with the electoral process as it is now. You came back home, you made your report. That is like Ahmed Sekou Touré or William V. Stutman or Yesembe Yedima collecting the opposition leaders and shipping them out of the country as ambassadors. You got work to do. And you say you're a member of the ECOWAS Parliament. So you spend 10 days out of the country and 3 days in the country. Are you competing or participating? Don't they have any other person to replace you? You're running for president. You should be in the country. You should be trying to understand the people. You should be interacting with the people. You should be listening to the people. But you out there in Abidjan, Nigeria, Togo, Burkina Faso. Are those the people that will vote for you? Are they going to vote for you? Oh, so you're going to bring the Burkinabes, the Ivorians, and the Nigerians. It doesn't make sense. Some of you listening to me will agree with me. You got work to do at home. The report you are making to the parliament, you could have been making a report to the coalition on what the Liberian people have asked you to do if you become president. So in my view, my fellow citizens, for now, I said for now, I don't want to offend any sedition. Your political leader is participating in this election. And the evidences are huge to show that he's participating. You all need to sit down with George Weah. Set him down in the chair. If you are a player or a former national team player and you are in the CDC, or you came from the LPDP, or you are a member of the NPP that formed a part of the coalition, you all need to set George Weah down and ask him if he wants to be president. Because there's a difference between one who needs to be president and one who wants to be president. You and I will agree that too often a time people will tell you, George Weah don't want to be president, are people forcing him. So we kind of come to the conclusion, thank you, sir. We come to the conclusion, all right? Nobody should force George Weah. Do you want to be president? Set him down in a chair. If he says yes, then you tell him to his face, then you need to start acting like one. You know, George Weah is a player. So he's an athlete. He's a former captain. He's a former leader. You don't be afraid of people like that. You set it down. You speak the English the way you're supposed to speak the English depending on who you are. If I'm there, my way of addressing George Weah would be different. Because I'm not going to say papi. That's not my papi. We're equals. So I'll be like, B player. Because I played soccer before. So my address to him will not be George Weah, Ambassador Weah, Mr. Senator. No. B player. Do you want to be president or not? And maybe he might say, see, player, where the question coming from again? I said, B player, then you need to start acting like a president. And then showing that you want to be president. Not. Because right now you're acting like you're not sure you will play. They got players who come to the dressing ground, walk in the room, and pick out the jersey. Pick out the number 10. George Weah knows what I'm talking about. James Deba would not be on the dressing ground, but nobody takes number 10. George Weah is not on the dressing ground, but nobody takes number 14. Why? Confidence. Confidence. But you want to be president, and it's like you are participating rather than competing. You want to be president, but you don't want to take on the responsibility of an opposition leader. You're just there. You're just following. They are even cheating you now, and you're not saying anything. So the question I ask, is George Weah a competitor or a participant? What is your take? I'll give you mine before you can even dream yours. For now, George Weah is a participant. He's not in it to win it. He's participating in the elections. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the young Liberian people who grew up to know George Weah thinks that the way he used to fight for the national team, see, Doty's saying the right thing. The way he used to fight for the Liberian national team is not the way he's fighting for the people that are following him. Okay? You got the whole nation. Even me right now as it stands. He's one of my candidates. I've narrowed my candidates down to 3. Despite everything I say here, he's one of the 3. Because right now when I look around, it's tough. He's one of the 3. He's already in the second round. Okay? Now, some of the times George Weah played, it was in the 88th minute that he scored. In politics, we got no 88th minute. There is no 90th minute the referee signed the whistle. There is no other time. There is no 120 minutes after that penalty. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So for now, you're just participating. He needs to step up his game. I was happy when he stood in front of the microphone and said, hey, I talked to Taylor, so what? It was in politics. He wanted to say hi. I said hi. Did he commit any crime? Hell no. Hell no. But you cannot, you cannot have people that are looking up to you. And the way you fought for the national team, it's not the way you're fighting for them. You are on losing just like you lost in 2005. You're going to lose again like you lost in 2011. Of course, the reason why you lost in 2005 and 2011 is because you didn't pick up on the tempo of the game that those people were playing. You were going against a high-class team, a whole political cartel. And that's the same team you're going against again. I'm sure you're going to win. They flog you 2 times. And you're not changing your game. If anybody listening know what I'm talking about. You are not changing your game. You went there slow. They push you around. 2011, you went there slow. They push you around. 2017, you come in with the same slow attitude. You will take dozen. You got to wake up. If you're not a politician, you don't have to. Just back off. Say, you know what? I'm not a politician. But here is it. I will help choose the leader that I think is best for the country. Why don't you guys spare me? I don't want to be a politician. Okay? I don't want to be a politician. But if you decide to be a politician, then be a politician. Act like one. Talk about the issues. Add your voice to the issues. You don't have to talk all the time. A simple tweet. All of the news organizations will get it. Donald Trump used Twitter effectively. Barack Obama used Facebook effectively. Hillary Clinton used emails disastrously. So for you, you can use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can use them effectively. Even text messaging. But you cannot continue to sit and just not do anything. Okay? And then tomorrow, you're going to say, they cheated me. And then the children, the young adults, and the adults who follow you will then want to take to the streets. And then the powers that be will call you and take care of you to quiet them down. Is it now time to speak? Or do you want to wait after the results? So Weah, you can participate or you can compete. It's up to you. Every day, 2 person goes to the small radio station and blow hot air. And then they leave. The power focus of the CDC is Monrovia. I did not say Monserrato. I said Monrovia, meaning I know the difference between Monrovia and Monserrato. And how big is Monrovia? Monrovia is a part of Monserrato. Monrovia is one city. Painesville is quite another. Even Bentall, the CDC is not strong in Bentall or Bensenville. So then you there, I'm a member of ECOWAS Parliament. Okay. That's what Secretary Todman Yatini Yadima then did. When they know you're a powerful force, they just keep you away from the country. Okay? They keep you away from the country. Look at few monster elections. We got 15 political subdivisions. You stay running to Nigeria, Burkina Faso, and Ivory Coast. When you're coming back from them, a typical Liberian English, let me speak it. When you come in, you bring them where you to vote. It's time you turn around to the people and say, look, I'm running for president. You'll find somebody to go to the ECOWAS Parliament. I need to focus on the issues at hand. That's what you need to do. You need to start sleeping in those counties. You're waiting for them to declare campaign. Campaign started a long time ago. And that's why I told you, this thing is not football. Pray if I made the 18-yard box penalty. If I man near the halfway line free kick. Who told you they got special rules for politics? You sit down there, you see Eugene touring the country. Bromsky, all his picture on Facebook this morning, he in the counties already. Cummins, the people singing song behind them, the dancing. You just getting down from the plane. You just get your report, now you go into sleep. That's not the way it works. You can either compete or you participate. And right now, it appears to me that you're participating. And you will be one of those that will cry foul and hoping that people will jump in the street and innocent people get killed. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. You're not supposed to be part of no more parliamentarian, ECOWAS parliamentarian stuff. You got work at home to do. Okay? You got work at home to do. Get to your work and do it. You got 15 political subdivisions. Go on Facebook this morning. George Weah, you will see Bromsky picture and his people. The other people. And then you're waiting for the announcement. One thing I love about Liberia, we talk, but we don't obey the laws. All of them doing this, you don't have to go. You're not campaigning. You're going to Bomi to visit Jejua. Or maybe you're going to Zodi or Golodi or go to Todi. Or maybe go visit your friend in Grand Bassa. You know, once they say George Weah is in town, in Zozo, the people will come outside to come and greet you. Then you talk to them. And then you talk. It's not campaigning, it's talking. But you know, we went to Burkina Faso and we went to Ivory Coast. Bring the Acheke and bring them with you. They'll vote for you. All I am saying is the question I ask, is George Weah a competitor or a participant? To me, he is a participant for now. When he gets ready to compete, he will let us know. But I still hold him as one of the last of the three candidates that now on my list. And for the record, he's already in the second round. And maybe there's some degree of complacency creeping in now. But that's not something good. Because we saw it in 2005. He sat right in the second round, they flogged him. He qualified for the second round in 2011, they flogged him. If he continues on the same path, they'll flog him again. Will it be strange to you? No. But the idea, every Liberian that I have talked to don't want the same old people in power again. That is the bottom line. Every Liberian I talk to don't want, I didn't say Unity Party. I didn't say Liberty Party. I didn't say ANC or ARP. I said every Liberian that I have spoken to have literally said they don't want the country back in the hands of the people that had power. Because those people betrayed their confidence and interest. Here you have a glorious opportunity to win a landslide. You blew it. You blew it. And people know me for speaking the truth. You went and took Tubman and brought Tubman on your ticket. That means is the reverse of good. Period. If you will pick somebody that's going to add value to your ticket, Weah wouldn't be struggling by now. But you and I know politically, from my vantage point, given my background, Weah is struggling. Weah is struggling within his own party, and Weah is struggling outside of his party, and Weah is struggling in the international community. The coalition is struggling. And they're struggling because you got two people that don't talk at all. So, this election would have been over, long over, trust me, if Weah had made the right choice. Because at the end of the day, all of the governments around the world would have started discussing with Weah what he wants his plans to be, or with the person he took. Weah is afraid of what happened in 2011. He's afraid. But that's when he's really supposed to not be afraid. What he did in 2011, he is supposed to do in 2017 with the right person. That's what we are out to do. I'll tell you the truth. But the ticket is struggling. I'll take your questions if you have any or comments, and we can make progress. So you got my side. I said Weah, for now, is participating. I mean, if Weah was to call me today and say, Sion player, everything that's going on, what do you think I need to win the elections? I will tell Weah exactly what he needs to win the elections. Because Jua Howard Taylor is already a senator for her people. Her people love her just like that. Weah needs to make one move now, and the election will be over. Signed, seal, deliver. If it doesn't happen, any government, whether Liberian government or American government, should take me to the poll and execute me. The election will be over. There will be celebration for 3 days straight in Liberia. There will be jubilation. There will be, the whole country will be on fire. The election will be over. Clean, simple, plain. Over. Done. There will be nobody to even, in fact, all parties will start lobbying. And that is what I say to you all. If you have any questions, I'll take them. Clementina Soare. After this podcast, I'll be calling you. I need to talk to you. I see Diawo Gay. I'm sure Nima Collins see the name Diawo Gay and he don't remember old school. Old school, you need to send a request to Nima Collins and tell him, say, are you still living? You know, so basically, you know, we can all talk so and talk so, but man, those of you that are within the CDC needs to tell Mane Weah that player, you don't want to play or you want to play, you want to play, go sit down. It's just straight talk. And I know to some of you who he's friends with, you'll say, my man, but I'm trying. And say, no, you're trying. You need to play hard or go sit down. Plain and simple. It's just the way it is. No, I like the guy. He's fought for the country ever since he was a young man. He wouldn't give up. Wants the best for Liberia all the time. And in most cases, he doesn't know what to do, how to do it, you know. But that's why you have friends. That's why you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, how they do it, when to do it, you know. When Donald Trump had Cory Lewandowski, it wasn't working. He went on to, what's his name, Magnafo. It didn't work. He switched over to Kellyanne Conway. 3 different people. But you can't, all the day of your life, Akaras Gray, Malba Malu, Jefferson Koji, these guys are your loyal friends. They've been there with you from day one. But where you are right now, it's not about your friends. It's about winning. So if they cannot do the job, they shouldn't be an obstacle or that impermeable wall that nobody can break through. I mean, these guys are basically just put George Weah behind a wall and block him. Open up. Bring in some professionals. Look at Donald Trump. Cory Lewandowski started a campaign. 25% of the way. They brought in Paul Magnafo. 50% of the way. It's not working. They brought in Kellyanne Conway. But you're still carrying the same old people. Unfortunately, you guys not going anywhere. Really? You gotta change, man. You gotta change. So right now, as it stands, Weah needs to make one move. And the election will be over. One move. There will be celebration in America, in Liberia, in the sub-region, in the world, and that's it. One move. The election will be over. People like us, I'll just wake up from there without locking the doors. And I'll walk straight to the airport. I don't need clothes. Board the plane. I'll be on my way to Liberia. To just set up the transition team and put together the document that will be read on the day of inauguration on behalf of the coalition. Plain and simple. No talk. Easy. And to lay out the agenda for transformation in the country. Plain and simple. But until that happens, I don't know. The unfortunate part about it, he's a participant for now, but he's already in the second round. So you want to blow hot air at your business. The question now is who joins him in the second round to participate with him. Not participate, he's participating, they're competing. Well, in that case, they will not be competing. They will just be finishing off the workshop or the symposium or the seminar or the completing. Oh my goodness. Look at Newsvet. All right. I think we had a good time on this podcast. Any questions? Any comments out there for me to discuss? Yep. So, you see, I mean, we just have to be bold with our political leaders. Don't be afraid to tell them the truth. You know? Just look them straight in the face, you know? When you sit with George Weah, look him straight in the face, say, hey, you want to be president or not? The most you will hear from a typical Liberian, and you know George Weah is a Liberian. He'll be like, what other question coming from? What do you mean, what other question coming from? You're not acting like one. Okay? So, I'm going to just go through a little piece of paper here. Is there any question? I'm looking on my screen. If I see a question, I will answer it. If not, we will talk about something different here in the next 2 hours. Well, that's why that's why you are not in that camp. Because you will be the first to say, you will be the first to call George Weah and say, hey, you going to do it or not? You know? So, I mean, that's what it is. Like you said, nobody's brave to tell him. And therefore, he's not feeling it. You know, he's not feeling the pressure. Even within his own party. There was no pressure on George Weah to, you know, tell them what he's looking for in a vice presidential candidate. And there was no pressure to discuss his pick. No pressure. I wouldn't have been a part of the coalition without George Weah calling his top aides into a room exclusive of Joel Howard Taylor. He should have said, I want to meet you. And everybody goes into the room and said, this is my decision, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to pick this person. And then everybody goes like, who? XYZ. And then listen to them, hear what they will say, and then see what happens. So, let's do that and see. So, any other contribution or question? Any other comment or question? Jesse, my brother, says the electioneering politics of a VP. Voters voted for the top of the ticket. My dear friend and brother, you are absolutely correct that when it comes to Liberian politics, it's a totally different ball game. However, it's true that people will vote the top of the ticket because that's the one who's running for president. But let's use Trump and Pence. Pence added a bit of value. And you and I know that Pence turned the tide because you and I are in the States. Okay? Pence turned the tide. And then what happened? So if Pence had not turned the tide for Donald Trump, trust me, when everybody threw him under the bus, Pence stood with him, and Pence, a lot of people saw Pence as the person that would keep him straight. I'm just saying. You're absolutely right. The question of whether George Weah can make a good president has been answered before. That your team makes you a good president. So yes, you may come in being a bad president, but your team can help make you a good president. So, George Weah can be a good president, no doubt in my mind. It depends on who he surrounds himself with. If he surrounds himself with what we the Liberian people call Weah, then it's over. And he's making that mistake right now as we speak. I will say if CDC will win this upcoming election, then that will be the recipe to win. I mean, they have to wake up to the reality. You know, electioneering, I'll come back to that. Why you think that no one has come up with this whole idea of a VP? It's because you have to be careful. A VP can give you momentum and a VP can kill your momentum. That is why if you follow American elections, 3 months to election, 2 months is when they give you that VP pick. But George, we are 10 months to elections, gave a VP pick. There's absolutely no momentum. And when that pick was made, there was no momentum. And if it is to pick up steam and momentum, then George Weah and Joa Howard-Taylor will have to create that steam and create that momentum because it is not there. There was a split within the coalition over that decision. There has been no attempt to reconcile the coalition over the issue of that pick. And they have not created news. They have only been the news. They have not been proactive. They have only been reactive. That's not the way to win. What Joa Howard-Taylor should be doing? The newspaper should be reporting Joa Howard-Taylor had a 2-hour meeting with members of the Islamic Council or the Muslim Council. Joa Howard-Taylor will hold a press conference on Friday to address the negative issues surrounding her pick. Joa Howard-Taylor says, Taylor is gone. What is before us is the future of this country. We can choose to nag on Taylor issue, or we can choose to talk about the issues that are important to us. They are not making news. As far as I'm concerned, Joa Howard-Taylor posted a video of a jihadist beheading somebody. Is that news? Joa Howard-Taylor posted a photograph of her passport with U.S. visa. Is that news? I don't know. Julius Godwin Venn, if Mr. Weah don't know that when it comes to voting for president, the 2 key things that people look at is the standard bearer and the vice standard bearer, but not the party itself. The vice president have major roles to play. Well, I don't know if he knows that. But that's what I'm talking about. You know, they are not making news. The news is making them. Now, If I was with Weah, that's one of the advice I would be fighting sorry to give him. I'll tell him, hey, do you know that the news is making you? You are not making news. The news is making you. And if you think the news is making you a good person, actually the news is making you a bad person. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer the news making you, or you prefer making the news? Then make the news. Make the news. Don't let the news make you. Look at front page and all the papers. Oh, we are talking to Taylor now. And so it's like, oh, we are messed up. But the news is making you. You are not making the news. Of course, the whole Taylor fiasco is nonsense. The same Juah Howard Taylor fiasco is still nonsense to me. And if you ask me how is it nonsense, when Juah Howard Taylor was campaigning for President Sirleaf, did you all talk about that? When she was being friends with Sirleaf and working with Sirleaf, did anybody make noise about that? So now she's working with Weah, then all of a sudden, then Taylor is involved. Why was Taylor not involved when she was working with Sirleaf and helping Sirleaf? So let's leave that out of story. The strategy, as I am told, being somebody that goes fishing inside, the strategy was to convince the people of Bong County that their place was secured. So that if anyone attempted to go into vote-rich Bong, they won't, you know, it's like on the farm, you know, when we had that depot, you my own brother, you know, want to eat quick. But that strategy was poor. Because it killed the momentum, it brought about a split within the coalition. Then at the end of the day, it alienated the Muslims, alienated the Grandians, caused confusion within the bombing arena, and it didn't help. But the strategy was, let's seal the deal with Bong County because it's vote rich next to Nimba. Well, sorry, didn't happen. The strategy was poor. The strategy was poor. And now we're seeing the backlash to it. And because of that, other political parties want to go into Bong using Slonter and others. It's a serious problem. Sharif said those guys' real intention is just to have Weah there so they can just have their way with the Liberian people. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And I'm afraid the fact that George Weah is in the second round, if nothing is done to change the scenario, I'm afraid we're finished. I mean, I'm just saying. Just give me a 2-second break. I'll be right back. All right. Let's do this. You know, for me, I'm looking at things objectively here. It's not going to help us as a society or in any way, shape, or form lead us to achieve anything if we bash each other. But the truth is, politically, I don't know who's advising the coalition. But they have not shown that they have a credible team together that can present itself as a winning team. I've not seen it yet. And I'm not going to bet on it. Because my thing is, you will know a party is aiming to win from the way they are organized and the way they carry themselves. A typical example, someone told me, we're working on a $7 million budget for the elections. Nonsense. You're working on what? $7 million budget? And you can't even you don't even have an FM station that can broadcast to the entire nation at the cost of $15,000? Do you know what $1 million is? Do you know how many hundreds of thousands make $1 million? You can't even afford $15 million, and now you're looking for $7 million budget. Spare me the nonsense. But all of the individuals that form part of the political party or the coalition, I don't know, they don't seem to have that money. And they don't seem to have the know-how. But I hope they'll do something different. But for now, it doesn't appear like they're on the winning train. Then say he thinks it's about time that Weah goes back, revisit the whole ticket thing, ask himself a question if Weah can bring in more people to the party. But he believes that if Mr. Weah will become president, he'll have to close his eyes and drop Weah Howard Taylor. Well, it depends on how he does that too, because it could backfire. But I can tell you this, from my vantage point, and you better take this, if he does it the wrong way, he's going to lose miserably. If he does it the right way, it'll be all good. She has to be on board. I won't tell you what Weah can do to win, but another time. And there will be no telling. He's definitely be in good shape. No further questions? Then I will beg to retire. Those of you who know George Weah can go tell him, say I say. And I have nothing to lose. I'll help him whenever he needs my help, and I'll help any Liberian whenever they need my help. I wouldn't pick and choose. You all have a wonderful good afternoon. I'll be talking to you all here shortly in the next 3 hours if I find something pop up. All right?